My name is Alyssa Mendez and I study anthropology at Columbia University as a bachelor degree.
And it's your second year in Gonies. So from since last year, no, before last year, how did you decide to get involved in a community project, and how did you decide to come here?
Okay, because I think a lot of what's lacking in my studies is practical experience of doing an ethnography. I was looking for a project to get in this experience, and I didn't specifically choose Gonies, but I saw it in an email that my school sent out, and I applied, and then I ended up getting accepted, so I came.
And how has this opportunity helped your study so far?
Well, when I got here, I was already working on what I intended to be my thesis project in New York City. And then since coming to Gonies and deciding that I'm very interested in Greek culture generally, I changed my studies to include a minor in Hellenic studies. And I have kind of shaped my thesis around Gonies, so I came back this summer. And I studied in Athens also to learn more about Greek culture, to practice learning the language and these things.
And would you like to tell us a bit more about your thesis?
Yes, well, I could tell you what my thesis is now, but it's in the process of changing a bit, I think, mainly due to the fact that it was very difficult to get all of the interviews that I wanted to get. So I was looking a lot at the way in which this relationship that Gonies now has with Iraklio, where people are coming and going on a daily basis, not only just summers or more sporadic visits, how this is changing the village and the perception that younger people in Gonies have of the village and of the possibilities that it offers them, the possibilities that Iraklio offers them in Crete beyond. And Greece beyond, perhaps. So I was dealing with this topic, and now I think I'm broadening that to look at the different ways in which historical changes in Gonies, such as when so many people immigrated after World War II, how this changed the look of the village, the feel of the village, and their understandings of what it offered. And then for people who came back, why did they come back, and how do they understand Gonies differently now? This is what I'm focusing on.
It's very interesting. And do you think that the skills you acquired by being here, the first year, helped you practically, I mean?
To do this project, or generally?
To do this project, yes.
Yes, I think at the beginning of last year, I think that the field school is very helpful generally because since it has this longevity and this familiarity with the community, there isn't such a difficult period of breaking in for the students because there's already an existing structure for us to go out and meet people, to talk to people and interact. But I found that after being here last year and not being able to speak Greek but trying to communicate with people however I could, that this year it was very easy for me to come back, for people to remember me and want to interact with me, to answer my questions and to talk to me. So it helped me a lot in this way, but also to get in the practice of taking a lot of field notes and finding time to balance trying to be outside the whole day and then trying to write notes that are detailed at the same time.
And what do you think is the best part of your stay here in Gonies?
It has to be the people. I think that, Gonies is a beautiful place, but I think without the people it wouldn't be anything to visit or to care about as much as the people here care about it and as much as I care about it.
And did you face any difficulties?
When?
Either the first year or now, or either relating to your research or your stay in in an
yes,
environment that it's
no.
not you were not familiar with in the beginning, at least. Now I think you are.
Mm. I think that the differences in the culture and the way of life here weren't the difficulties for me. I think the first year the main difficulty was language. Sometimes just getting frustrated with how slow translations would come, or if they didn't have all the details I wanted them to have, and not being able to say simple things to people. That was a big frustration for me. This year I think my main difficulty comes from the fact that everyone who studies here has different backgrounds, not just culturally, but in terms of what we study. So when I come to Gonies, or when I think about doing ethnography, I think, okay, I have to spend nearly every minute outside. If I have to say no to an invitation, I will say no once and yes 6 times. This is what I'll do every day, and this is my perception of fieldwork. And so because of the different backgrounds, this isn't always what everyone else plans to do here. So I find myself pushing people and it not working out, and this just frustrates me continually. In terms of my research, there were just difficulties in getting people to have time in their day for interviews, because many people are very busy. And sometimes with the communication in the interviews, though I think that because I have recordings, I'll be able to transcribe these and then work on the translation with a professor who's Greek teacher.
Have you thought of giving something back to the community which relates to your research, though? So doing something with your research results, not necessarily on an academic framework, but something out of it? Or is it too early yet?
I think right now it's too early, because I have to go back to the data, reread it, and decide on how to deal with it and how I will interpret it, what I think it says and what I think it offers. I think one problem is that, I can do some creative things, but I can't think of a practical thing to implement that would directly deal with my project, since one of the main themes of my project is the depopulation of Gonies, but without changing the entire structure of the Gonies economy. And I don't think that there's a way in which I can directly deal with this central aspect. So I'm not sure.
Okay, you're welcome here next year, so I'm sure that we can work it out. It's a very interesting topic to create something.
By then I'll know how I did my project, since I'll have to write it before then.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Alyssa.
Thank you, Lena.
We're waiting for you next year.